is a pointer type is basically a value that provides the indirect access to the elements of a known type. So just like your integer, float, basic data types, so pointer is also a pointer type variable which provides indirect access to the elements of a known type. So pointer p points only to the object of a specific type. So meaning is what? Whenever I'm going to declare a pointer variable, it is going to have the declaration as, is Blackboard is visible? So while declaring the pointer, just like any other variable we are going to declare, it will be type, basic type, then the asterisk, that is the pointer operator and the variable name. And this particular pointer value will point to the object, which is nothing but which allow me to access the element of a known type. So meaning is what? For example, if I am declaring int a and I have, so whenever I am declaring an integer a, it is going to allocate a memory name. So this will be the name of the variable. This is a memory location. And when I am saying integer, so integer will be the type of that variable, right? So the memory location, it will be x to 0, right? So now whenever I am saying a type pointer variable, so if I am saying int pointer p, okay, and but obvious at that time, in order to access this particular memory location, my pointer will allow me to access the element of that specific type. So meaning of this particular statement is my pointer type is a value that provides a indirect access to a element of known type. Now how it will be doing and all that, I will show you by using a Python tutor. So my pointer p, that is a variable name just now as I declare a variable pointer or pointer type p, it points to a object of integer type. So whenever you are declaring any pointer variable, depending on the type of that particular pointer variable, it will point to a specific type of data. So when I'm saying integer pointer p, it will point to the memory location which is holding integer data type. If I'm saying float, it will point to the element, or it will give me a indirect access to the element of floating type. So that is pointer p points only to the object of a specific type. My pointers are going to have a it provides me a efficiency and dynamic data. So efficiency is, it is more efficient to move or copy a pointer to the data structure. That is, I can easily move the pointer variable from one data structure to other data structure. I can use it, I can create the copy, that is clones of that particular pointer variable. So it is very efficient to copy and move to the data structure. Dynamic data, that is the data structure that grow and shrink during the execution, can be implemented using the records and pointers. So how we can use this, that we are going to see in the coming slides. My pointer have a fixed size and it is independent of what they point to. Meaning is what? It is not going to depend on what type of data it is pointing. Now I will explain you this particular line once we will go ahead. Now my pointers are always called as a first class citizens. So how we can deal with the pointers and all that. So this is just the basic introduction of the pointer types. Now when I'm using a pointer types, again, it is pointers are available with Pascal programming, it is available with C programming, but is it pointers are there in Java programming?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So it is totally again depend on the programming languages. So I will just talk about the how we can with reference to Pascal and C, because Pascal programming language is used in the reference books while they are explaining the examples. So when we are using the pointer type in Pascal, it will be declared with the arrow. Okay. So while declaring, we have to specify the type keyword, the name of the variable equal to array and the another variable which will indicate it is a type of the link which will point to a specific variable. Okay, so a pointer type in Pascal is indicated with an arrow and the type name, that is the name of the variable. So in this case, the type must be declared before they are used, and thus link can be declared before the cell. So meaning with for this particular example where type link equal to arrow which indicate it is a pointer type variable cell. So this type link is declared before the cell is going to be used. So type must be declared before they are used, and link can be declared before the actual cell variable is going to be there. So this is the declaration in Pascal, whereas in C programming, how I can declare a pointer variable. So if you remember just now, I have declared it on the blackboard also, right? So what I have done, I have declared a variable int a, and in that int a, I have been assigning a value, suppose for example 22. So when this line will be executed at that time, a will be having a value 22. But when I am using a pointer p, so my pointer p is what? It is nothing but holding a address. So p ampersand a. So this is my unary operator ampersand, which indicate the address of variable a, which will be stored in this pointer variable p. So meaning is what? Int pointer p, which indicates my pointer type p is indirectly accessing the integer data type. Okay, that's why it is int. So, but obvious, it is going to store the address. So my p is holding what? It will be having an address xx20. Is that clear? I am using int pointer p. Now when I am going to access this pointer variable, for that what I have done, I have declared int variable a, which is having a value 22, and but obvious when I am assigning this integer variable a with 22 value, in your memory, a is having a location xx20, which indicates it's a memory location, or it is also referred as a address. And by using a pointer variable, my pointer variable indirectly access the value of that particular element. Is it clear? I hope you people are able to understand this.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So, the same thing is shown on the slide, that is int pointer p. So as I mentioned, my type indicate what type of pointer you want to declare, whether you want integer, whether you want float, whether you want character, and but obvious, it indicate based on that type, it indicate that the indirectly it is accessing that specific type of data element. Now, so this is about the pointer declaration. Now I will just stop this and we will see in a Python tutor how it is going to be done, how the references will be created and all the stuff. Now, is my screen is visible? Is it visible?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
Okay. So now see what I said, when we are using a pointers, now what I have done, I'm declaring a variable a and b. Okay. Now, when I'm using a is equal to, suppose for example, the value 40. After that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a pointer variable, right? So I'm using the integer data, so int pointer p. So this is asterisk is the pointer operator in your C programming language, whereas in Pascal you have to use the upward arrow. Now, So see, if I'm going to use this particular thing and I will just use printf value of pointer. So see carefully, %d, comma, okay, and semicolon. So see, when I'm going to execute this particular thing, now when I click on next, now I haven't assigned any value to anything. So just check it out. If you're going to look at, I have declared a variable integer a, b, but b is also not memory is allocated because for that b variable, I'm not using any more in the program. I haven't assigned some value. And whereas I'm printing p and I have assigned a value to a variable a. So whenever this a is equal to 40 is going to be initialized, the value is going to be changed. Whereas for p, if you are going to look at, it is indicating that it is a pointer type variable. Okay. Now when I'm saying a pointer type variable, see, now I haven't, my pointer type variable is not pointing to any of the element in the program. So the meaning is over here, my pointer p. So for visualization, it is holding some address, but I haven't used any address. So this type of pointer is called as a wild type of pointer. So now what I have to do is, I have to assign some value to this pointer variable. P is equal to ampersand p. Okay. So what it will do, now after this, I will print the value of a and I will print the value of p also. So you tell me what the value of a and value of p will be printed over here. Value of a is pointer p. Okay, so now just see what is happening. Next, next. See, now when I'm saying p, it is my p, which is a pointer type. It is holding an address of a variable, integer a. So when I'm saying int pointer p, it is saying that it is a pointer variable p of type integer, which indicates or which indirectly access a integer type data. Okay, so my p is pointing. So immediately when I'm assigning a address of a to p, automatically it is showing a pointer p over here. Are you able to see this line?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So now tell me, when I'm displaying printing value of a and printing value of p, what will be the output? Yes. What do you think? It will print the actual value or it will print the address?
Address of P.
Address of
Address of A.
address of A. See, because my P is holding the address of A. So that's why when I'm printing, if you're going to look at, this is the address of variable A, because whenever you are running, this particular address is not going to be constant. Because see, whenever I'm going to run this code again, whatever be the free memory is available at that time, it is going to allocate that memory to that particular variable. So this is the address of that particular variable. Right. Now, if I want to print the value of this particular pointer p variable, so in order to access the value which is holding by my pointer p, see what I will do, I will just print pointer p and we will check it out whether it will print or not. See, 40 pointer. When I'm just simply printing a variable p, it is giving me the address of the variable a in this particular example. Whereas when I'm printing, so over here, see, I hope you are able to see pointer, value of a pointer. So when I'm printing the pointer operator and the variable pointer p, it is pointing. So it will display the value which is going to be holding by that particular address. So my asterisk in C is nothing but my pointer variable, whereas when you are simply printing the contents of P, at that time it will print the address. So I hope it is clear that my pointer variable or pointer type is used to access indirect access to an element of the specified type. Any doubt in this? So pointer type is a value that provides indirect access to the elements of known type. So in this current example, we are having integer data type for A and B because we are accessing in variable A. Is it clear? Now, so see over here, whenever what I have done, I have stored the address of A into pointer variable P. So now when I'm going to increment the value, edit code. Now, so when I'm saying A is equal to A plus 1, it means what will be the value of A now? Which is similar to the pointer P is equal to pointer P plus 1. And now visualize the code. So whenever I'm going to access pointer P plus 1, it will be same as of here A plus 1, incrementing the value of A. See, 40, then my pointer P variable is pointing to A. I'm just printing the values in order to get it clear how the P variable is holding the address, how you are indirectly accessing the element stored at that address. And now just look at A is equal to A plus 1. It means the value of A is incremented. Now same thing, it will be happened with the, now I will comment this and now have a look when I want to increment the value or at that particular location by using a pointer variable. See, pointer P plus 1. Now is it same? What happened right now? Is it incremented the value of A? Or it has incremented the value of address? What happened? So, yes?
Ma'am, the value of A, I mean, in the previous one got like from 40 to 41, right?
Yeah, correct. So can I say my incrementing a pointer value is same as of my A plus 1? Because I'm using pointer P. Pointer P is what? It is nothing but the value located at that particular address. My pointer P is accessing indirectly the value stored at this particular address.
Ma'am, but here, like only the value is getting increased, the address remains the same. So even if the pointer is increasing, it like.
See, the pointer address P is holding the address of A, right? But what we are saying, my pointer type is nothing but a indirect access to the element stored at that particular location. So when I'm saying ampersand A, it means I'm passing or I'm storing the address of A into P because my P is a pointer type variable, right?
Yes, ma'am.
See, I will just show you whatever you're saying. So what I'm doing, pointer P, it is nothing but whenever I'm using the operator pointer with a variable, it accesses the actual value. It will point to the actual element stored at that memory location. Right? That is what it is doing. It is P is pointing to this particular location. A's address is stored in P. So directly when I'm using a point asterisk P, it is going to give me the value. That's what we have seen over here. Print F value of pointer point P. I hope you have understood.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So when I'm saying pointer P plus 1, it means I'm going to increment the actual value which is stored at that memory location by 1, and that is again stored in, which is again going to point by the pointer P only. Right. Now, whatever you are saying, I will just make the changes over here. Edit code. So what I wanted to let you know that my A is equal to A plus 1 is same as of my incrementing pointer P plus 1.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Correct. See, if whatever you are saying, if we are saying that P is equal to P plus 1 and I'm storing that, so it is my P is just holding the address. And if you are incrementing the address, but obvious it is not going to point to your variable A. It will give me an error.
Yes, ma'am, that was a doubt. Actually, I thought that when we were doing I thought that we were incrementing the address itself. That's
No, it will not address. That's what I have done. I have printed the actual pointer P variable value and the operator P. So whenever we are using a asterisk operator with the variable, it is going to access the value which is stored at that particular memory address. And that's why it is indicating, or that's why we are saying it is a indirect access to an element. Is that clear now? It is indirect address. See, you will be able to understand over here. Pointing C. So that's why A is holding value 40. Now when I'm just simply printing a pointer variable P, because P indicating what? It is when I'm using the asterisk operator, it is nothing but a pointer variable. So when I'm just simply printing P, it is nothing but the address holding which points to value 40, right? So it is printing that particular value. And now see, when I'm going to increment, it is going to, what it will does. See, I hope you are able to understand what happened. Have you noticed the change?
yes, ma'am.
Because my P variable, which is holding the address as 1677420, and when I'm incrementing with some value and I'm storing into that pointer, it is changing the actual value of that A variable, which is not actually, when we are making it increment by 1, instead of making it 41, it is something wrong thing, right? Because you are using simply a variable name. P plus 1. So instead of 41, it is something wrong, because whatever be the address plus 1, it had done. So when you want to make it similar to A plus 1, I have to use it like pointer P. So it will indicate see. Pointer P, it indicates it is pointing to a actual element stored at that particular memory address. So it will now 41. So I hope the concept is clear now. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Now same way, what I can do, I can create the more pointer variables, and I will just show you how the assignment, just now whatever we have done, that is the increment value that is performing some operations on the pointer variable and the assignment of that pointer variable. Now I can declare float pointer Q. Int pointer W. Okay, and see over here my integer pointer P variable, and I'm having a W also as a integer pointer variable. So now I can assign the same pointer variables over here. So when I'm saying W is equal to P, which is of same type, and then what I will do, I will just print the see, A is of integer type, P and W is a pointer variables. See, when I'm assigning P to W, same, my W is also pointing to A. See, whenever I'm moving this, it is change its color, right? So I'm copying P into W. So my W is also pointing to the same memory address of integer variable A. Now, my one question is there. Now, can I assign P to Q also? Yes. P is equal to W is equal to, I can make it Q. What do you think? Is it giving me error? Because my Q is having a float, whereas W is having integer. What do you think? Yes? See, we are saying pointer variable is nothing but which holds a address, which gives me a indirect access to the element, right? So over here, it will allow me to do the assignment because my pointer variable P is indicating that it has to point to the value. So it is not going to verify whether the address is going to actually holding that specific data type. See, W. What has happened? Is it allowing? Because when I'm assigning directly, it is not knowing because my Q is having float, whereas my W is a integer type, and that's why it is not allowing me to access. So it is use of uninitialized value of size. So meaning is what? I'm not having the address of Q over here. So that's why it is giving me an error. So whereas if I'm doing like this, what I will do? So it will be easy for you to understand what I'm saying. C is equal to 5.5. Okay. And now what I'm doing, I'm assigning Q is equal to, because my Q is of float type pointer variable, is equal to ampersand C. And now have a look. See, all the pointer variables, also your variables which you have used. See, 5.5, 40, P is pointing to 40, 41, it is incremented. Now Q is pointing to W. That is, I'm assigning C is pointing to Q. Q is having the floating point. Now what I have done, I have assigned a P to W. So now my W is pointing to P. Now when I'm going to assign Q to the W, it is not giving me any error. I hope you are able to understand. See, now when I'm assigning Q to the W, my Q is of float type, whereas my W is of integer type. But it is pointing to this 5.5. Meaning is what? Because, see, the reason is over here, even though I'm saying the type is float, but the address is never going to be a float value, right? So it indicates that the pointer, the type of a pointer indicate that the value which is stored in the memory location should be of that specific data type. Okay, so it is allowing me over here to access next, and it is printing. So I hope the concept is clear over here. So in this way, we can declare a pointer variables in C. I have shown you the example. Now what operations we can perform on the pointer? That is the dynamic allocation on the heap. So in Pascal, just like your Java program, when you are using new keyword, it is going to leave a pointing a newly allocated data structure of type T on the heap. But in C, it uses a stack. Whereas if you are using malloc or size of functions for allocating a memory, it will allocate from the heap. Dereferencing, it is nothing but a indirect access to that element. So my P arrow in Pascal, it denotes the data structure pointed to by P. So that is the same thing which I have shown you over here in the Python tutor. Is it Python tutor is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So see, whenever I'm saying asterisk or pointer P variable, it is nothing but it is pointing to the particular element. So that is called as a dereferencing or the indirect accessing that particular element in that particular programming language. So pointer P, which indicate dereferencing, that is indirectly accessing the element stored at that particular address. Okay, so that is the dereferencing operation. Now after dereferencing, next point is the operation is basically assignment. So already I have shown you the assignment operation on pointers also. That is, we have seen increment one value and assign to a pointer variable. At the same time, I have shown you how we can assign a pointer variable to another pointer variable and the equality and deallocation. Okay, so basically, on this machine, multiple tabs are not at a time it is sharing. So I have to stop one and share it again. So now is it visible? Is it visible? So see, yes. Pointer variable declaration. Now after that, dereferencing, which is nothing but the indirect accessing, just now as I explained it to you. Now after that, assignment. So over here, where I'm incrementing a value and assigning to the same variable, or I'm assigning pointer variable to another pointer variable, this is nothing but the assignment or the incrementing the actual element value of the pointer location. You can also check the equality by using the equality testing. You can check whether the two pointers are of same type to the same data structure. Okay, so now see over here, my P and my W is of integer, whereas Q is of float. So by using the equality sign, that is equal sign and not equal to sign, you can check whether the data structures are having of same data holding by using a equality operator. And the last one is deallocation or dispose. So it is nothing but the data structure, a dynamic data structure exists until it is explicitly released by the execution of a dispose. Meaning is what? Whenever the dynamic memory from the heap is allocated, so that memory will be there until you are not going to make it explicitly free. So dispose, in Pascal, we are using dispose function to make that memory free. So these are the some operations which we can perform on the pointers. So operations on the pointer is dereferencing, dynamic allocation on the heap. So in Pascal, with new keyword, the memory will be allocated from the heap. But in C, we are using malloc, which is nothing but dynamically memory allocation, then assignment, just now as I have explained, then equality operator, and the last is deallocation, that is dispose. And in C programming, you can use free function. So free P, which indicate you are going to deallocate that particular memory. So the dynamic data structure exists until it is explicitly released by the execution of dispose or free function. Okay, now, so, but obvious by using the data structures, how I can use the data structure which can grow and shrink. So my pointer serves as a links between these cells. So if I'm having a data structure which is holding the actual information and link, okay, so the static layout principle indicates the size and the layout of the storage for each type are known statically before a program runs. So meaning is what over here, whenever we are declaring a data type, with that data type we are knowing for int 2 bytes will be allocated. So these size and yes. Yes, somebody said something. Can you repeat? Hello? Should I proceed? So see, my pointer serves as a links between these cells. So static layout principle, which indicate the size and layout of a storage for each type are known statically before the program runs. So that is nothing but a static layout. And runtime, it is nothing but using a fixed size cell. So meaning is over here, we are having a cell which is having the info and the next, which indicates a link type, and that link will indicate a pointer to the next cell. So grow, whenever I'm going to create a new cell, automatically my data structure will grow. Whereas if I'm removing the cell, automatically it will shrink. So meaning is what? I think in data structure you learned the linked list. Am I right?
Yes.
Correct. So that linked list you can just visualize. If I'm creating a linked list. I hope my board is visible. So it is going to have, when I'm creating a linked list, it is going to have some value and it is pointing to the next element. Again, I will have over here 50. It will point to the next element. So whenever I'm adding any element to the linked list, automatically my data structure will grow, right? Like this. So it is going to have the actual value and the link which will point to the next element. So whenever you are adding any element to the linked list, my data structure will grow. If I'm going to delete any of the elements, so when I'm deleting, suppose for example this 40 object over here, now at that time it is going to update this link in your program, right? So automatically whenever I'm deleting or removing any object, my data structure is shrinking. So this is the grow and shrink concept of the linked list. Okay, so my pointers are used, or it will serve as a link between the different cells, as I have shown on the board, right? So in order to implement this, I am creating a structure cell which is having the actual information as a integer data type, and the struct cell which is nothing but a pointer variable which is pointing to the next atom in the linked list. So whenever I'm adding an atom into the structure, but obvious my data structure will grow or it is increased because I'm going to allocate a new cell, so it will increase the size, whereas whenever I'm removing any cell from this data structure, it will shrink. So that is the grow and shrink operation on the data structure. Now, same thing, it is implemented by using Pascal. On the previous slide, I have shown with the C implementation. With a P, new P, it leaves a P pointing to a newly allocated cell. P point info I, it indicates that the actual element, like for example, in this case, for my I am having, for the first cell, I am having the value 30. So I is going to have a value 34, which is going to be assigned to that pointer. And but obviously my P dot next, which will pointing to the next element. Now when there is no element is there, at that time it will be pointing to the null because no element is there. This is the last element in my structure. I hope you are able to understand how the data structure is growing and how the data structure is shrinking when we are removing the cell from the linked list. So this is just the same implementation by using a Pascal programming. So front, which is pointing to the first element in the linked list, and see over here, whenever we are inserting any cell at the front, but obvious it is going to be added into that particular front. So 1, which will be pointing. So whenever I'm adding 2, but obvious my front will be pointing to that element and the link will be to the previous element. In this way, whenever I'm adding a cell, inserting a cell into data structure, it will grow. And when I'm going to remove any data cell, it will be shrink. So in this way, data structure will be growing and shrinking. Now next is dangling pointer and a memory leak. So basically, what is a dangling pointer? A dangling pointer is nothing but a pointer to a storage that is being used for another purpose, but typically the storage has been deallocated. Okay, so meaning is what? I'm having P and Q pointers over here, but my P is pointing. That is when I'm saying Q is assigned to P, it means my P is dereferenced from over here and it is pointing to the same element. So this object which is allocated previously, it is deallocated, but that memory is not free. Okay, so that memory is remain there. So due to that, this memory is going to be leaked. That is called as my memory leak, and this is called as a dangling pointer. So the operation dispose P or free P. So what I said in Pascal, dispose is used to make that memory free, whereas in C programming, free function is used to make or deallocate that particular memory for the further usage. So due to dispose and free function, it leaves that pointer P is dangling. So see, whenever I'm going to, what is this pointer is dangling? Over here, initially it was pointing to this variable, but when you are assigning, but obvious it is pointing to this and this memory location is not going to be accessible. Right, so that is here what we can say a dangling pointer, because it is pointing to a storage that is being used for the another purpose. This memory is not accessible. Okay, so the allocated storage is there, but it is inaccessible. That is called as the garbage. So I think in Java programming you are knowing about the garbage collection. Garbage collection concept is there in Java.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but that is not there in C++. You have to explicitly make that memory properly release so that it will be used. So due to that dispose and free functions, my pointer is going to be dangling because this memory location won't be accessible because this pointer is pointing to the some other memory location. Okay, so that's why it is the memory, the storage is allocated, but it is unaccessible. So that is my garbage. So the program that creates a garbage are said to have a memory leaks. So see, what is that? Whenever we are creating a garbage, it means that memory is allocated over there, but we are not able to access by any means. So meaning is what? I will just explain it to you by one example which we have just discussed. See, over here, I have suppose 5 cells with me. 34, it is pointing to other variable. It is pointing to suppose 30, then it is pointing to 50, pointing to some other. Now, if this link is break, if this link is pointing to directly this particular cell, so at that time, these two cells are unaccessible. The memory is allocated, but it is unaccessible because this pointer, instead of pointing to this allocated memory, it is pointing to something else. So that's why whenever you are making the assignment to the pointer variable, it is little bit dangerous, or it is making the memory leak. Okay, and the pointer is dangling basically over here. So this is the concept of dangling pointer and memory leak. So the memory which is allocated but which is unaccessible, we are not able to access that, that is a garbage. And the program which creates such a type of garbage is called as a memory leaks. So assignment to the pointers can lead to the memory leaks, which just now I have shown you. P is equal to Q. So it means my P is pointing to the same memory location which is pointed by Q. And in order to, so when we are making dispose P automatically, but obvious this memory is going to be unaccessible. So the design of pointer operations in Pascal. So Pascal restrict the pointer operation. So in order to restrict this memory leakage or the garbage collection, my operations in Pascal are restricted. It not allowed the assignment operators properly in the Pascal, whereas in case of C, it stresses the flexibility. So as I have mentioned over here, I can create a different type of pointers like integer, float and all that, and by assigning and by performing some operation in C programming, it gives me a flexibility to use the pointers. Dangling pointers are unsafe, just now as I have explained on the board. Dangling pointers are unsafe because the result of dereferencing a dangling pointer is unpredictable. It means we are not able to access the memory which is allocated for the cell 30, 50 in this particular example. So confine the pointers to the heap. So that's why in Pascal, whenever you are using a new keyword, it is going to use a heap memory for the data structure. So new P leaves pointing to a newly created data structure on the heap. Whereas if we want to do it in a C, we have to use malloc, or maybe you have I don't know whether you people have heard stirdup function, STURDUP, which will create or which will point to the duplicate string duplication, STRDUP function. Have you heard about that? Yes?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
just a minute. Just let me know whether my screen is visible to you or not. Is it visible? My program is visible or not?
Ma'am, we can see the PPT.
Just a minute. I have to stop and I have to share again. Now is it visible?
No, ma'am.
I hope now it is visible because it's showing me I'm presenting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
See, I was talking about the string duplication. So now what I have done, I have created a character array of source and I'm just making duplication of that particular string and I'm storing into one character pointer. Now you are knowing what is pointer. Am I right? So now
Yes.
now so we will just see how it will work so that it will be easy for you people to understand. It will take time. So see, next. So it is creating a source array of characters. It stored that particular string. Now it created a target pointer, and when I'm saying string duplication, automatically see the difference. with a string duplication, it is creating, it allocate a memory on the heap. Now see, up to previous point, if you have seen, in C programming, it is not using heap. But now when I'm using malloc or star duplicate, automatically it allocates a memory on the heap for that particular array. Are you able to see this particular thing? With character, pointer, target, with star duplicate, with this function, it is allocating a memory from the heap. And now when I'm printing the target, it will just see. Now over here, with a target, it prints the string array address, string actual contains over here. And see, now when I'm saying, we'll close because it will all the comments. See now, so when I want to make it this particular code free, C from the heap. Now I want to make that particular memory free. So what I have to do in C, I have to use free function, free target. Automatically, it will make sure that that memory will get free for the further execution. Quickly, I will. Already we have seen. See, it is pointing with that. Now when I'm printing, this is a character array, so string will be get printed. And see, when I'm making it free, this is going to be, the memory will be deallocated. It is make that memory free. I hope you have understood. See, on the heap, the memory is freed. Understood? So this is the flexibility given in the C programming. It stresses the flexibility. So when I'm making it free, but obvious that memory is deallocated, or it explicitly, I made that memory free, and over here, this pointer, this is a dangling pointer over here because it is not pointing to anything. I hope it is cleared now. Or still any doubt? So the pointers are confined to heap in the Pascal, whereas in C, just now I have shown with the example. So with a new P, it creates that particular data structure on the heap, and with the assignment P pointing within the heap itself. So at that time, there is a memory leak and dangling pointer will be there. Now, one more is pointer as a proxy. So over here, the pointers can be rearranged inexpensively. So I will give you an example what we mean by the pointer as a proxy. So all of we are knowing the transaction, that is whenever I want to transfer some amount to, suppose there are two parties A and B, and when A wants to transfer the amount, instead of giving actual cash, when you are giving a check or when you are making the NEFT, that will be nothing but the proxies. That is, instead of the actual thing, you are making or you are using the alias object of that particular instance. I hope you are knowing the alias object, which is the same as of the original one. So over here, instead of the actual amount, the check proxy, that is nothing but my check, will act as a proxy for the transfer, or in order to make the amount transfer to the B account. So my pointer can be rearranged inexpensively, where it uses check as nothing but over here a proxy in case of your banking application. Okay. When you are making the NEFT or online transaction, that is also a proxy instead of the actual cash transfer from one account to another account. So check is nothing but the proxy pointer over here. Now rearranging the pointer. So already I have explained you. See over here, that is all of you are knowing the swapping example. So over here I have created E, which is pointing to this particular memory location, F, which is pointing to another variable. And when you are swapping, but obvious, so after swap, it is pointing to the two different location, which is where the actuals are get swapped. Okay, so this is the rearranging of the pointers. Now, so I think, do you want me to show this with the pointer example on Python tutor? Yes. Now just tell me whether my screen is visible or not. Maybe we will take 5 more minutes and we will stop. Now is my Python tutor is visible? What I will do is, so we will create the code. All of you are familiar with the swapping functions? Yes or no? Yes, girls. Swapping pointers E and F. So over here, just simply what I'm trying to do, I'm assigning E value to the temp, F into E, and temp I'm assigning to F. I think the system is hanged. It is not allowing me to do anything. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
I think you people have done swapping. Yes or no? A is equal to I'm making value 10. B is equal to I'm making the value 50. Okay. And I'm calling a swap function where I'm passing this actual A and B value. A. Okay. And now I have to and I have to write a swap function. So void swap, and what I'm going to use, I'm using int pointer variable p, comma int pointer variable q. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap the values. So over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use int temp. Now what I want to swap the value. A should become 50 and B should become 10 over here. So what I will do, I will swap the value. I'm keeping the value of A into temporary variable. So I'm keeping pointer P over here. Now, then pointer P will become, I'm storing the value of Q into this particular variable. Sorry, it has to be equal. Pointer Q. And now what will be the third statement? So my value of P, that is P, is copied into this pointer variable. So P will be pointing to 10 value, Q is pointing to 50. So initially I have kept 10 into temp value, then 50 into P, and now what I have to do, I have to assign the value of temp to the Q. I hope it will work. Just saying. Why it is giving the error? Just a minute.
Ma'am, semicolon is missing after int temp.
After
Int temp.
int temp, but it is showing me the error for the first line. Over here it is showing, and due to that it is not accessible, it is showing me.
Ma'am, in
Spelling
6
of
9
return.
return spelling.
What?
The spelling of return.
Turn in the 6th line, ma'am.
No, just a minute. It is showing me for the first line, not for the remaining one. What I will do, just I will close this.
Ma'am, parenthesis.
Minute. Yeah, the parenthesis was missing. Now I have. Now is it visible? I hope it's visible now. Is it visible? I have shared my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
So see, when I'm going to next, by using these particular thing, I'm swapping. See, when it goes to swap, what is happening? It is pointing, A is copied into this pointer P variable, B is copied into Q, which is pointing to that variables, and I'm swapping these values. See, 10 now. See, are you able to see the things? B, which was actually 50, now it become 10. So this is swapping of the pointers. So this is the same, that is rearranging the pointers just now as I have shown. So before how it was and after swapping how it will be looking like this. Okay. Now after this rearranging the pointers, that is with E and F, the pointer assignment. What we have done, we have assigned the pointers. So it leaves E and F pointing to the same data structure previously, which I have shown. At particular moment, it is pointing to the same location. So the assignment E, now this is the Pascal assignment syntaxes. E pointer assign, F pointer will be assigned to E. On the other hand, means that the data structure pointed to by E is assigned to the data structure pointed to by F. So, but obvious after assigning how it is exactly looking. So this is the rearrangement. So quickly revising that, pointer is a pointer type, in which the range of the values consist of the memory addresses and the special value is null. So see, meaning is what? I hope quickly I will revise. Whenever we are declaring a pointer, if you remember, when we are just initially, when we have declared a pointer variable, but we haven't assigned any address. I hope you remembered when initially I have explained. So at that time, when you are not assigning any address, at that time, that type of pointer variable is called as wild pointer, WILD, wild pointer. When we are assigning pointer variable equal to null, it is nothing but a special value or a special value assigned to that particular pointer variable. So there is a null pointer, wild pointer, and there is a dangling pointer. So we have discussed about these three types of pointers, and its usages is, it is addressing is flexible, and the dynamic storage management is easy with pointers. But the designing issues is what with pointers is what is the scope and the lifetime of the pointer. That is how the memory, dynamic memory is allocated from the heap, how we have to do the garbage collection, how we have to make that memory properly free. So dangling pointer, then memory leak, all the problems are there, or the design issues with the pointers. Now the last concept is two-string table. Now quickly it will take hardly 2 minutes. So we will finish with the two-string table and we will stop. So two-string table is nothing but, so I think all of you are familiar with the string array. Just now in the previous example also we have created a string array gigs of gigs, right? So whenever we are storing any string, it will create an array of that particular character. So with a character array, basically it is nothing but indirect access through an array. From a distance, the types in Pascal and C are very similar. Both have arrays, records, and pointers. So now up till now we have seen arrays, structure, union, right? So arrays, records, and pointers are mostly same in C and Pascal programming. Only difference with the string tables in Pascal and with a C is, so the differences in the treatment of pointers lead to the differences in style between the two languages. So always each language is having its own way or its own style of programming. So with a string, with a pointers in C and Pascal, how it is differ in with the two string table that I will just explain and we will stop. So the representation in Pascal. So if I'm having the three strings, text, prod and word. Okay. So text program uses two arrays to hold the string pull and start. So how it will be represented over here? So I'm using two arrays, two string arrays in the Pascal. So see how this particular pull of strings it is going to have. So all the words in a pull. So pull is nothing but a buffer or a character array, and each character is having its own index over here. Okay, so see, in a pool, it is having the three words, as we are saying, the three strings, text, prod, and word. Okay, so now I will show it on the screen, so it will be very easy for you people to understand. Is it visible? So we are having three words. What are that words? Text, then prod, and word. So whatever be the word, it is going to have a character array, and see, simply I will explain it to you. It's going to have text, and so on. So these three strings which are shown on the board or on the slide, that is text, prod, okay, sorry, it is prod, it's not prod. Any string you can take, only thing is how it will be represented in Pascal and C program. And the last one is word. So basically in Pascal, whenever you are accessing these three words, so this is my pool of the given strings, and while accessing, it is going to create another string array which will point. So I will have a start where with this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the another string array, it will have an index 0 which will point the start of the first word. Now second will be, so this over here index 1, 2 and 3. But in a start it will have the index 3 and the last it will have the index 8. So it is in Pascal, while dealing with the strings, it is maintaining two arrays in order to hold the string. So over here, the pull which is having all the complete words, whereas in the second string array, string start of 0 which indicate. So 0 index in a pool is pointing to the variable t. Whereas start of 1, so it is having index 3. So my 3 indicate the small letter 3. And whereas the third one, that is the start of 2. So index 2 is having actual value as 8. So 8 in the pool is going to indicate the word W. So in Pascal, while dealing with all these words, it maintains a index through an array called the start, which contains the beginning position of the word in the pool starting at 0. So start of 0 is nothing but the capital letter T where my mouse is pointing, and the pool of start of 1. So pool of start of 0, it is T. When the start of 1, so start of 1 is what? It is having index 3. And this index 3 in the pool is pointing small t, which is the start of the second word, that is trough. And my start of 2, that is having the index 8, is pointing to the word W. So in this way, Pascal is using the, or it is handling the strings, which is two string table. Okay. So in this particular case, whereas in C programming, all of we know that each string is ending with /0, right? So it is end of a string. So EOS or /n will be there. So see over here, if I'm storing this into C programming, but obviously it will be EOS or /0. That is the special character. Each string is terminated with a special character. So in C, the string layout is indicating like this, EOS. So 0 will be indicating EOS, then it will store the next string, then again EOS, which indicate the end of the string. Okay, so in this way, my Pascal and C programming are using two string tables. And how we are going to calculate the length of a string? So, but obvious, you can just check it out. Start of S plus 1 minus start of S, which indicate it is the nothing but the total length of the string. So see over here, my start of 0, whatever be the hello. Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. I think there is some problem. I'm not. Is it audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I hope you have understood how the string tables are, two string tables are maintained in C and C++. Am I right? I have just now explained you that in C programming, it is each string is end with a special termination character, that is /0 or EOS. Just now I have shown over here on the slide. So it is maintaining a pool of two strings. So it is having the two arrays, one is actual characters and the another one which is holding the starting index. Over here, my start of S plus 1 is 3 minus start of S. S is initially 0. So 0 plus 1 in this case, see, S, if it is S is 0, so start of S 0. Now start of S plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is pointing to the 1 which is 3. So start of S plus 1 is 3. 3 minus start of S which is 0. So it gives me the actual total length of the two string table. So the length of the string will be calculated. Same way you can calculate for the remaining strings in this particular example. So now for TROF, TROFF, it is 5 letters. So you can just check it out over here. 8 minus 3, I'm getting 5. So I can calculate the length of a string with this formula. But the disadvantage of storing the integer index value in an array start rather than explicit pointer is that the compiler cannot check that the index values are used only to point to the characters. See, over here, we are knowing that this is the index and it is pointing to that particular character. But over here, it is the disadvantage is that we are not knowing whether it is the start of the index, whether it is the actual integer value or it is the address. So that is the disadvantage over here in using the two string table. Now, representation of the C that I already explained you, each string will be end with the special character /O or EOS. So that's why the indexes will be different in this particular array pointer. Okay, so this is the arrays and pointers in C, which I have already explained how to do the incrementation and all that. And see, over here it was pointing. So first pointer will be 1, then next will be 5, which will be pointing to the fourth location. So in this way, in a two strings table in C programming, the indices will be maintained. So this is all about the pointers and two string table. So we will stop over here. Quickly, I will take the attendance and then you can stop. You may leave then.